speller, and I'm not really that great at math either. These are two things that you do not want to be bad at when you enter 5th grade. Between spelling bees, weekly spelling tests, and timed math exercises, I can actually pinpoint 5th grade at being the exact time that my self-esteem plummeted. You know, that self-talk, I'm not worthy, I'm not smart, I'm not the prettiest girl in class. It was 5th grade. But then, Sister Jordan, a new principal, came to my school, and she announced to my 5th and 6th grade class that there was going to be a speech contest. We were to go home, it was Friday, and think of a topic and an outline. I was so excited for this assignment that I didn't just go home and get the topic and the outline. I actually topic, outline, made my speech, memorized it, and had props ready to go by Monday morning. By the time the speech contest arrived, I started watching the other children get on stage and tell their speech. They held a piece of paper and they read line for line exactly what they wrote about the thing they wrote about and looking like they're gonna throw up. And I ran to Sister Jordan and I said, I messed up. She looked at me in surprise, and what I remember is that she went down on her knee to get eye level with me, because if you think I'm short now, I was short then. And she said, why? I said, my thing is like nobody else's. This isn't like anybody else's. And I'll never forget what she told me. She said, it's okay to be different, and maybe this is your talent. Nobody had ever told me that before, that it was okay that I was different and weird, and it was okay to be me, and that I had a talent. So I got on stage, walked up the steps, started walking toward the mic with a lit candle. Now, do you know what it takes to have fire as a prop in 5th grade? I had a fire extinguisher, I think the fire marshal was there, and I made it happen. And I got up to the mic, and I blew the candle out. And I said, darkness and silence. This is the way Helen Keller lived her life. For the next 5 minutes, I went on just as dramatic as that, telling the story of how Helen Keller was my hero. I had just read a biography on her or something, I don't know. But I won 1st place. And my self-esteem soared. And the next year, I entered the same contest, and I won 1st place again. And Sister Jordan had decided to take me to the Regional Catholic Youth Organization speech contest 2 towns over. I felt so honored. I got to ride in the nun's car. And I won 1st place. I was just ecstatic. I had something. I had a talent. And on the way back, she was driving me home. She looked over and just asked, "Are you a writer?" No. And she just said, "Maybe you should be." Wow, I had never thought of that before. The next year, I left Gallion St. Joseph's School Elementary and went to the public junior high, where I was a little tiny minnow in a great big ocean. And I kind of got a little lost. And there were no more speech contests or Sister Jordan rooting me on. But I became a writer. I spent hours on my bedroom floor going through a dictionary thesaurus, rhyming word, making poems and short stories, long stories, fiction, nonfiction, research. I just wrote. I wanted to write. And as 7th grade went along, I met my very first boyfriend. It was love at first sight, and I put all my feelings into a love poem, and I gave it to him. Don't be mad at him. He was 12 or 13. shared it with the entire 7th grade. To say I was humiliated, to say I was heartbroken, shoot, it can bring tears to my eyes today thinking about that little girl. And I made a decision at that moment that I would never share what I wrote again, ever. I would never stop writing, but I would never share it again. And I didn't. Now I want to time warp you to about 20 to 25 years later, sitting on the couch with my grandmother holding her hand. She had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's the time before that. And there was a picture on the wall, an antique picture that had been there my whole entire childhood, and I just now recognized it. Just like seen it for the first time. And I said, Grandma, who are those people? And I was too late. She didn't know who they were. On the back of the frame in script is wrote their names, but I didn't want to know their names. I wanted to know who they were. I wanted to know their story. I felt like I missed out on a legacy. I missed out on a connection. Who are those people? And what were their fears, their loves, their tragedies, their triumphs? Like, what lessons could I have learned from them people if I had just known them? And it dawned on me, I need to share stories. And so I did. I started sharing. I started sharing with a very small group of friends, some that are here today, and they keep coming back to support me. One that meets me and reads all my junk and constantly tells me how great they are. And it was safe. But they started to give me courage. And so I met somebody new. And I didn't know her that well, but she was interested in what I was writing. So I handed her an 80-page manuscript of my short stories, and she took it delightfully, like she was excited. So I was like, here you go, read it, tell me what you think. A few days later, I was walking through Target, and my phone beep. I looked at it, and it just said, "This is not a book." My 7th grade self came out. Who the hell are you? Who are you to tell me everything I wrote, everything I love, all that work is not a book? And then beep, I read the text again, and it said, because these stories need to be told in person on stage. People need to hear you, see you, your mannerisms, the way you tell it. They'll miss out if you don't tell it on stage. And although I was very excited about what she had wrote, I was also very saddened at the same time because what kind of people come out and listen to people tell stories on stage? Who does that? Where do you do that? I thought, I'm not a stand-up comic. I don't want to go up and make people laugh one after another. If they don't laugh, I'm a failure. I have stories, not jokes. How do I do this? And serendipitously, things started happening. And one night I was laying in bed and my phone beeped again, and someone sent me the link to the Lord. I read it, I stared at it, I told nobody about it, and then I joined. I'm going to take a storytelling class. And the first time I got on stage to tell my story, I felt like that 10-year-old again with Sister Jordan out in the audience, except this time my new cheerleader was Bridget. It was magnificent. It was inspiring. I had found people like me. I didn't know it existed. So today, I am still not good at spelling, but there's spell check. So. And I'm still not good at math, but there's calculators, and I married an engineer. It helps a lot. It figures out all my math problems in life. But what I can say is I am a writer. I believe in the power of I am. And today, I am a storyteller. Thank you.